They were knights, yes. They were warriors, indeed. But the Knights Templar were not born in shining halls or on glorious battlefields. They were forged in blood, in silence, in the echo of screams beneath a city soaked in death. The official story is neat. In 1119, a knight named CIHUYS de Payens approached King Baldwin II of Jerusalem with a request to form a small monastic military order dedicated to protecting Christian pilgrims traveling to the Holy Land. The king agreed. The church blessed them. And so the poor fellow soldiers of Christ and of the Temple of Solomon, the Knights Templar, were born. But history, real history, is never neat. What if I told you that the true origins of the Templars weren't rooted in chivalry, but in cover-up? That their first mission wasn't to protect pilgrims, but to protect a secret buried in the very place they were named after, the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. To understand the shadows behind their formation, we must go back 2 decades before the Templars ever existed. It is July 1099. Jerusalem has fallen. The First Crusade has achieved its ultimate goal, the recapture of the Holy City. And the victors become butchers. Contemporary sources, both Christian and Muslim, speak of a massacre so horrific that even seasoned warriors broke down. Blood flowed like rivers through the streets. Men, women, children, Muslim, Jewish, even Eastern Christian, none were spared. In the words of the chronicler Raymond of Aguilers, in the Temple of Solomon, one rode in blood up to the knees and bridle of his horse. But lost in the chaos is the story of what they found. Several groups of knights, led by nobles who would later vanish from official records, broke away from the battlefield and descended beneath the ruins of the ancient Temple of Solomon. What were they looking for? According to suppressed Templar manuscripts and banned church records rediscovered centuries later, they found a chamber. A chamber sealed for centuries, possibly since the time of Herod or even earlier. Inside was no treasure, no golden menorah, no Ark of the Covenant. What they found was far more dangerous. There are whispers of a stone tablet, black, smooth, humming with a heat that should not have existed, inscribed with writing no one could identify, and etched into its center an open eye. The moment the knights entered the chamber, things changed. Some began to speak in tongues. Others refused to leave. One knight, a noble from Provence, reportedly blinded himself after gazing too long at the stone. He said, "It sees me from within." When the city was secured and the blood wiped from the streets, no mention of this discovery appeared in the public annals. The church crowned the crusade a triumph. The people rejoiced. But in the darkness, a quiet group formed around a single purpose: to guard whatever had been disturbed beneath the temple. Fast forward 20 years. The kingdom of Jerusalem is fragile, constantly under threat. And within it, a group of 9 knights requests an audience with King Baldwin II. They ask for no land, no titles, only this permission to set up quarters within the ruins of the Temple of Solomon. The king agrees. Why? 9 men, no resources, yet they are allowed to reside in the most sacred and dangerous spot in all of Jerusalem? What did the king know? What did the church want buried? For 9 years, those knights lived atop the Temple Mount, but they did not guard pilgrims. There are no records of them escorting travelers. There are, however, scattered fragments from Islamic chroniclers and mystic sects in Damascus that speak of men in white robes, seen excavating deep beneath the foundations at night. There is one particularly disturbing account, written by a Syrian Sufi mystic named Al-Hakim ibn al-Sir, who claimed that the Franks dig beneath the holy rock, not for gold, but for voices. He described strange lights coming from beneath the dome. He said the land itself had begun to whisper again. And then, just as suddenly as they had appeared, those 9 knights returned to Europe. Changed. What happened beneath that temple during those 9 silent years? The first Grand Master, CIHUYS de Payens, spoke only in riddles when asked. In a preserved letter to Bernard of Clairvaux, he wrote, "We were unmade and remade in the shadow of the temple. We do not serve the pilgrims. We serve the seal." What is the seal? Some scholars believe he meant the seal of Solomon, a legendary sigil said to control demons. But others, those who studied suppressed Templar texts found in the ruins of Massacre, claim it was something older. A force not divine, but primordial. A sentient awareness buried beneath the stone. Not a demon, not a god, something forgotten. This, they say, is why the Templars grew so fast. Why they were feared and revered. Not for their military might, but because they held something no one else did. Forbidden knowledge. As the Templar order expanded, so did their obsession with Jerusalem. They poured unimaginable resources into securing the Temple Mount. Not building, not renovating, but sealing. And those who tried to interfere, they disappeared. Records lost. Tombs sealed without names. In 1307, King Philip IV of France, heavily in debt to the Templars, accused them of heresy, devil worship, and unnatural rites. He tortured confessions out of them. He burned them alive. The church agreed. But what if it wasn't about debt or power? What if King Philip learned the truth? What if he feared that whatever was buried beneath the Temple Mount had followed them? Jacques de Molay, the last Grand Master, before being burned at the stake, looked at the cathedral and whispered, "The truth dies not in fire. It sleeps in stone." To this day, beneath the Al-Aqsa Mosque and the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, lie sealed vaults. Most are unexplored, access denied. When ground-penetrating radar was used in 1999, it revealed cavities beneath the temple platform. Geometrically perfect. Unnatural. The Israeli authorities sealed the report. The Vatican made no statement. But here's what we do know. The Templars were not formed to protect travelers. They were formed to protect silence. Silence over what was found, what should not have been disturbed, what still waits beneath the earth. So when you see their symbol, the red cross, the white mantle, know this: it is not only the mark of warriors. It is a warning, a reminder that beneath the stones of faith, beneath the altars and hymns, there are older things, things that remember. The Crusaders believed they were fighting for God, but in the end, they built a prison. And the Templars? They became the wardens of something that was never meant to be freed.